Greetings, mortals, and welcome back to the blindness of eternity. When last we left off, we had just delivered the letter indicating that there was a attempt to basically steal some dude's treasure, which he's planning to use to, like, get an alliance with the dwarves or something, or a peace agreement with the dwarves at any rate.
Got it.
And all that good jazz. So this person is very aggressive, okay. Did she send you to run me out of town? You can tell her I'm not going anywhere without that medallion. I told Sorel I wouldn't let her sell it. If that's what you're here about, then save yourself the trouble. What? What are you talking about? If you have to ask, then you're obviously not here to shake me down. Sorel's a courtesan over at the Salty Mast on Andra's Gift. We've been working together for over a year now. I find a noble with more money than sense, fill him up with liquor, and send him her way. They have a good time, and Sorel takes her fee, and a little extra. 100 coppers here, a trinket there. It's a bounty for us, and these lords and ladies never notice anything. Oh, okay. Okay, so go on. That's interesting. Anyway, we always split the bounty up until a week ago. She takes a necklace off some noble. It's an Engwithan medallion, damn near priceless. That relic is sacred to my clan, but she won't part with it for any sum I could afford. And even if I wanted to, I can't go home without it. What? Well, what? Why? I grew up in Air Granfoth with the Shattering Spear clan. We Glanfothans have protected Engwithan ruins for thousands of years. It's the one duty the gods ask of us in exchange for the freedom to live as we please. But treasure hunters looted the ruins in our territory, and we left the wilds we dwelled in for generations. Most of my clanmates scattered to towns around Deerwood and probably live on crusts of bread. Restoring this medallion to the ruins would earn us the gods' forgiveness. The Shattering Spear could go home. This is all rather fascinating. A single medallion to earn the gods' favor and so return home. It rather reminds me of a story I heard somewhere. Uh-huh. I'm gonna go number 3. It was this or scrape by in the gutters like the rest of my clan, but I'd give it all for the medallion. I offered to, but it's worth more than anything I've got, and Sorel knows it. Tell me about her. She's a courtesan of the Salty Mast over in Andra's Gift. She wasn't born to much, but she's done what she has to in order to escape that. He's like obsessed with all of his clothing. Like he's always looking at his... See, oh no, this is just him folding his arms, but like, let me look back at this. So this is him gazing at beads around his wrist. This is just clenching his hands. This is looking at his robes. Fidgets with a ring. Oops, fingers together. So this would indicate that it's not a tell. So she's a good friend. Without her, I'd probably be living hand to mouth like the rest of the Shattering Spear. But this isn't about her or me. It's about 40 people in my clan and the way of life we've held onto for generations. Okay, I'm gonna go number 5. I'll talk to her about it. So you'll find her at the Salty Mast. The only way anyone sees her these days is by paying, so you'll have to go through Maya. But whatever you do, please don't hurt her.
Eh?
So this is interesting. This guy seems like he might actually be on the level just because of the fact that he's clearly indicating that he doesn't want me to hurt her, and things of that nature. He seems genuinely fond of this woman. So, interesting. So here's Nanton. Begging your pardon. Oh, it's you. Thought I recognized that name. I don't remember where I saw him, but it's good to see you well. We had a few rough days here, but we found this place, and they were kind enough to hire us both. Things have been wonderful. I can't tell you how much we appreciate what you've done. Grid. It's hard work, but good wages. Can't complain. I don't remember who these people are.
Hail, traveler.
Well, but what brings you to the Charred Barrel? One. It's my retirement. Used to be a warehouse back when Brackenbury saw ship traffic, but it fell out of use when the area became mostly residential. I inherited it from my great uncle, who'd never had any luck pawning it off on my cousins. I completely forgot to start up my alarm. No, it's the most popular spot in Brackenbury. The nobles come shop unwind, and the kith from other districts come to mingle. We get a few rough types too, but they behave in here. Besides, their coin's as good as anyone's. So, who are you? I was a cartographer for the Duke for decades. Crossed the White March half a dozen times and mapped most of the ruins in Thane Bog. Good career, but one suited to younger men. When I came back to Defiance Bay for good, Glyver and a few other friends in the Knights, helped me get the rights to refurbish this. Excuse me. Oh yeah, cool. Here's the cook. Pop down here. And we need to increase the game speed, because... Oh, bandits. What are bandits doing in the tavern? So...
Eh?
The proprietor has collected a respectable...
Hey.
Dunward Row is down the street, apparently. Interesting. Let's go track down Dunward Row. It's apparently right down the street, so... We'll go upstairs first and finish exploring this area, but... Pirate. Okay. Arr. Herewith watches you through coal-rimmed eyes. I don't know what that even means. She puts her hand on the hilt of her blade, jangling the jewels. That we don't know each other, stranger. Best we keep it that way. Okay. I'll begin.
I shall be quiet as a calm sea, which is not very quiet.
That has the wrong icon on it when I click on it. Oh, maybe it doesn't. I'm just a noob. Never mind. This map of the Deerwood and Irglen Foths appears to predate the discovery of some of the ruins in the east. It's signed by cartographer A. Scarian. That's the proprietor of this place, so... This world feels very complete. And though it may splinter my soul, I will do something. The characters feel pretty real, and they have actual motivations and stuff, which is kind of nice. There isn't so much as a spot on these oranges. Arc.
Welcome.
I don't recognize you. What business do you have with House Dominal? Oh my god. Tell me about this place. It's old and respected family. Much of the Defiant's prosperity is due to Dominal business activities. Nope. Alright. And that's really cool, that when he says I'll see you out, he actually sees me out. It just teleports you out of the area. This isn't the place that they were talking about, is it? Sometimes we get trouble in here trying to make trouble for the animators, okay? Speak with Head Warden Ethelwar if you need appointment. I just want to read all this. The Animator places a small stone upon the patient's forehead. I'm pretty sure he didn't say that. I'm pretty sure that happened. A portion of his soul was recovered near his body. We used the stone as a vessel for the transfer. Can you hear me, Oswald? Unfortunately, the extended association has permanent side effects. Patient becomes more agitated, grunting and moaning as he tugs at his bonds. With further research, we're confident we'll be able to rehabilitate patients like Oswald.
Hello.
Bald man with crooked nose gestures in demonstration over a still body of a patient before a small gathering of interested onlookers. Feeling your gaze, he pauses his discussion. More than one. It's the mission that attracted me here, the treatment of the disturbed. No one else seems to care about them. Here, they've worked wonders for them. I've seen people cured of insatiable hungers and uncontrollable urges. I've seen the crippled walk and dysphoric smile, all within these walls. I thought that Duke could put an end to it with a single order. It keeps me up nights. Okay, so this is the head warden. A well-maintained statue of a middle-aged man presides over the room, looking down unblinking over the bustle of harried academics pestered by the hopeful desperate. Strong warmth emanates from it that you can sense from across the room. There's a human soul stored beneath this stonework. You feel its attention turned toward you. It has been some time since a watcher graced these halls. I'm envious of your natural insights, traveler. I can only imagine how it might have helped my work in life. Now, what is it that has brought you to my sanatorium? I could have done without hearing that today. Many have their intrusions been into our affairs. Of course, one can seldom be certain whether they've meddled or whether calamity has struck on its own. But a few of their less skilled infiltrators have been exposed from time to time. They are a perpetual nuisance. Once again, I'm reminded of how envious I am of your guests. I suspect there'd be of some use in verifying one's identity. You're at odds with the lead and key as well, I take it? Gonna go with number 2. They're always up to something. Of that you may rest assured. If their plots have come to involve you, you have my sympathies. Do you have some idea of who this person might be? gonna go with number 2. Very well, in that case I would recommend you speak first to our resident animancers. They have frequent interactions with both patients and colleagues. You'll find them up here or in the offices downstairs. You will report anything suspicious to me immediately. That is my only request. Okay. Tell me about the sanatorium. A history lesson. This is a rare pleasure. Most come here only concerned with cheating death in one way or another. We're an old institution as Deerwood goes. This is our 94th year. As with many cities, the growth of Defiance Bay brought with it a host of problems. One of the worst is that those born with, shall we say, ill-favored souls came to populate its streets in droves. Thus the sanitarium. Sanitarium, right? Not sanatorium? Sanitarium. Okay. Brackenbury was a natural fit. It was growing, but there was also a lot of money here back then. This place owes its survival to the curiosities of the wealthy more than anything, I think. Our founding came at a time of great suspicion and Nancy, much like today. So much progress has been lost to the mishaps of a few careless practitioners. But in time it was forgotten, as all things are. Since then we've been at the forefront of Animancy's resurgence. We've played host to many gifted researchers and pushed the boundaries of our knowledge in ways never thought possible. Some of the first safe transferences were done here, and we have pioneered work in soul purification, lineage analysis, preservation. It's really quite a list, if you'll pardon my pride. Today it's, well, I can't say it's exactly the same. There's been some push to shut us down. It comes from Deerwood's more excitable denizens, whose minds are more passionate than thoughtful, I'm afraid. People see this legacy, and they see it involves something they don't understand, so it's natural for them to suspect people whose understanding exceeds theirs. It looks to them like we're hiding something. We have a representative in the palace at this very moment defending the entire science of animancy at a hearing before the Duke, absurd as it sounds. If it does not go well, it could be the end of animancy in Deerwood. I fear Avar may well be squared by all this unrest, irrational though it may be. We will see. Go number 1, I guess. In the statue, you mean? Well, I was old, and it seemed wrong to me, a lifetime spent in pursuit of discovery, only to lose it all in death. Somewhere, someday, I would wake up in a new body, none the wiser, and pursue a different course entirely. All that experience wasted. If we're ever to unearth the principle behind our existence, it will be in spite of our condition. Of that I am quite sure. To live on as part of something I helped build seemed to me a better legacy than what nature had in store. The transfer itself was quite simple as our techniques go, and for that I am grateful. Playing with souls is far easier to accept when they are not your own. I do miss being able to take an active role in the scholarly efforts here. Now and again, one of our animancers will humor me and consult over a problem, but they are a jealous breed and are often afraid to collaborate. If you're considering it yourself, I can tell you that it isn't for the easily bored. It's not for the easily bored. Indeed. Something was here, but it went away. Customs. There we go. It's here again. These look like field sketches of Anglithan ruins and artifacts. This painting of Rollisford Glen has a strangely soothing effect. Oh. We can steal all their books. Psalm to Wotica. Ye exiles, ye broken, fear not the vengeance of the burned queen. She watches from her throne, ever vigilant. She hears the oath thou dost speak at her altar. She hears the oath thou dost speak in thine home. She hears the oath thou dost speak in the dark. For ye who would keep thy word, thou shalt escape the justice of her gauge. Beware ye liars, ye unfaithful. Beware ye the hardened heart. Beware, for the eye of Wotica will not be blinded. She hears the sundered oath. She is not fooled by the winding path. She attends the broken promise. She sees the deceiver. There is no shadow too dark. Her gaze will find thee. Her justice will not be restrained. The fires of justice will never be quenched. The throne will crack. The law will burn. But the queen that was always will be. Speak not an untruth, or thy tongue will be bound. Remember thy place. Remember thine oath. Remember thy queen. What is that doing here? Midwife's memoirs. Go ahead and take that. Animancy in the modern age.
Eh?
You're welcome to browse. The spread of knowledge is a healthy thing, don't you agree? What your soul may be trying to tell you. Okay, so I think we're gonna have to go downstairs. I'm gonna talk to him first.
Good day to you.
Okay. The reason that I wanted to talk to him is because we did find that Wotica poem, which, I mean, it is a library, so maybe it's just there for benign reasons, but I have my doubts. Let's go to Sanitarium level 2.
Shh.
Modred. Unexpected results. The canine host was listless and unresponsive, but it was determined that this was simply the implanted feline soul. Yarn resulted in vigorous stimulation. An animator scribbles feverishly on a parchment scroll while his free hand dances through the air, counting off unseen objects. His lips move in silent discourse. As your shadow falls over his scroll, he looks up at you with mingled perplexity and irritation.
Hail and well met.
I'm gonna go with number 1. You must be joking. This is a sanitarium. Nothing is usual down here. Although now that I think about it, the patients seem more agitated lately. But they're Cade Manazzo's responsibility, not mine. Then if there's nothing else... what are you working on? My area of focus is wicks, more specifically how to cure them. So why do you study them? What kind of question is that? Just think of all the families that could be healed, the lives that could be restored. What could be more important? Animancy has an answer here, I know it. It's simply a matter of working it out. I see. Interesting. Be quick about it. Don't touch anything. The sanitarium has lax visitor policy, but I don't. Oh, the corner of... Wait, is his name basically Mordred? I'm gonna examine his trunk. Nothing grabs your attention except the large padlock on the front. Whatever this animancer keeps in here, he does not want anyone else to have or see. Interesting. So, his name is Modred, which is interesting. Let's talk to
Welcome.
Bella. Echosi, here I am, working so hard for answers in my research that I do not see the kith standing here in front of me. What can I do? Okay, I'm gonna go number 1. It is rare for me to notice things that do not relate to my work, even when they are in front of me. But I am not the best choice to help you. Sientere Mika. I assume that means I'm sorry, but I'm not the best person to help you with that. What do you do here? According to my research grant, I study awakenings. Sublimating pre-awakened souls has been one of the Animancy's greatest successes, and I'm working on a method to replicate the process on awakened souls. Sublimating. But the truth is that I find very few suitable subjects here. Widewood's legacy has left plenty of awakened souls, but most are too broken for study. I fear I'll have to return to Revwell with nothing to show for my efforts. Well, I'm awakened. Most interesting, but not the kind of awakening I can study, I'm afraid. I need someone whose awakened soul can be triggered with predictable stimuli. Souls such as these tend to manifest as alternate personas in the host. But I thank you for the offer. It is dynamic and respected field. Even the Balearic incident did little to slow it. People in the publics are more accepting of risks, less superstitious, ready to try anything that shows promise. I'll go with number 1. Because it seems like something that people should be studying, and it should be regulated and understood, so that people aren't doing things like that crazy woman who had all those undead. Like, yeah. It is But such is the way of the Deerwood. The people here are fierce about their sovereignty, but they are not so independent from their Aediran brothers and their Glanfadrin neighbors as they'd like to think. They rely too much on mysterious workings of the gods and fear the very advances they need. So
Eh?
Margren's fire casts light in dark
the
places.
edges of the cage are dented and scored with claw marks.
Let's see what lies this way.
Hail, traveler.
A young Orlan woman traces her fingers along the spines of the books in front of her row by row. Her motions are quick and skittish like a bird. She does not notice you until you are nearly in call. Oh my, you startled me. What are you supposed to be here? Oh, I'm just Master Azo's assistant. He'd know more about that, but he's in the middle of an busy with some patients. You won't be able to see him until he comes out of the patient's ward. If there's nothing else, I need to get back to work. I'm gonna go with number 1. I'm just an assistant. It's not my place to gossip. I'm sorry. How do I get him? Only Master Azo has access. I guess Head Warden Ethelmore does too, but he's, you know, a statue now. So what do you do here? I mostly help Master Azo set up and clean his equipment. I also keep his office organized since he's too busy to do it himself. Note from Azo. Ripley, I require more copper tubing for my next experiment. Do not requisition it from the sanitarium stores. I don't have the time to deal with the head warden's inevitable questions. Interesting. And I have 5 mechanics. So I'm going to go ahead.
This won't stop me from.
North Ward patient record, Batixa the Pale Lady. Subject is female, mid-40s, awaking to a past life as a serial murderer, which now frequently emerges as the soul's dominant personality. Subject vacillates between violence and severe depression resulting from the guilt of past deeds. Weak candidate for present research. Northward patient record Graham. Subject is male, approximately early 30s. Powers of speech absent, presumably as a result of overfragmentation of his soul. As such, he is the ideal experiment for present research. Interesting. However, experimentation has caused severe pain and induced panic, and I have had to enlist the aid of the guards in transporting him for more recent procedures. Subject is male, mid-20s, displays acute dissociation and paranoid delusional tendencies, causing anger and extreme violence. Dangers of working with the subject preclude possibility of further use in present research. Subject is male, approximately 17 years of age, admitted for episodes of catatonia, followed by occasional violent outbursts. Initial analysis of soul revealed severe fragmentation and essence deficiency. Said deficiency all but eliminates the possibility of utilizing the subject in present research. So there's only one viable candidate that he has here. I'm going to go ahead and save this. The Mordred guy, or excuse me, the Modred guy, is a little suspicious. This guy is also a little suspicious. It's possible that they're both infiltrators. I have a suspicion that it's only one of them, however. So let's talk to
Hail and well met.
I'm going to go with number 1. Experiments? Caedmon Azo is in charge of patient welfare now. He's not authorized to run any more experiments. I am disappointed in Caedmon. I had hoped he would be one to guide your inquiry. He'll be in his office or in the patient wards. I'm granting you immediate access so you can find him. No doubt you'll wish to speak with him further on this matter, and I, for one, am curious as to what he might have to say. Tread carefully in the wards. There are a few dangerous cases. I would ask that you do your best not to agitate the patients. They have enough troubles as it is. Yeah, no kidding. If the person in charge of their welfare is performing experiments on them, kind of a problem. This assistant is so fired, by the way. Because the assistant is not doing what she's supposed to be doing in this kind of a situation, which is to go to a higher authority and say, there's a guy who's breaking the rules. Should probably deal with him. So there are flesh constructs in here, which are going to cause problems for us later. I am going to just ignore the patients.
eyes are peeled.
Something churns and bubbles in this tank. Oh, we found Azo. Copper wires and conduits are shiny.
Yeah.
The device is warm to the touch. There are flesh constructs here, there are patients here. So I think that door is locked in such a way that you can't unlock it unless you have the appropriate key. I'm not positive, but that's my thinking. Yep, okay. Because it didn't say anything of being able to do it. So let's see, we can loot this, lockpicks. I'm actually thinking of picking the lock on that thing, because it'll actually give me a decent amount of experience. Give me probably about a fight's worth of experience. Or
Yeah.
one enemy's worth of experience anyway. I don't want to take that one, so... Keep your distance. What's in the cell back there? We had incidents when people got close. Interesting. And it makes sense that they're keeping wicks on the premises, because they're trying to research how to cure them. Crooked chalk tally marks cover the surface of this table. So let's see whether we have issues over here. I think I am in fact going to open this, because I have 6 mechanics and 7 lockpicks, and
This won't stop me from
maybe I'll get some information that I otherwise
done.
wouldn't. And no, I'll get a Raven Wing though, and 175 experience. So damage, 16 to 23 crushing damage. Coordinating, +4 accuracy when attacking the same target as an ally. +1. Wow, that is really good. This is very strong. Legend tells of a druid wise and powerful, who traveled accompanied by a flock of ravens. In battle, the druid would assail his enemies with his mace, while the ravens descended in the chaotic swarm, distracting and flanking his foes. Years of coordinated attacks and the druid's lingering magic are said to have gifted his mace with an enchantment that lends the wielder similar benefits. Or gifts, rather. The mace is finely wrought and lightweight, making it maneuverable if not very resistant against direct attacks. Against a distracted opponent, however, a single blow often proves quite sufficient. No kidding. +4 accuracy, 25% increase in damage, plus... Wow. That is really good.
Eh?
Fortunately, I don't have anyone who's particularly proficient with maces. I should just give it to her. I don't think she has any proficiencies right now, right? Yeah, she doesn't have anything like that, so I'm going to give her... This is her secondary weapon, I think. I could add burn damage onto it, that would be kind of cool. Interesting, so I can actually add effects to this, so this is going to be really powerful. I'm going to give her that instead of the dagger for now.
Eh?
And I have 6
Why not?
mechanics, so we can unlock this. We can take Blade Golan, Breakout, half stun duration and knockdown duration. That's good. Preservation. 20 defense while stunned, 20 defense while prone. Cool. Plus 2 damage reduction. Particularly good against piercing and freezing damage. Blade Golan is said to have been blessed by the Lord of the Hunt himself. A human hunter showing skill with a bow and arrow beyond any before seeing caught Galawain's attention one day. Galawain proposed a bargain. The hunter could best in the hunting contest. Galawain would present her with armor that would bestow upon her the power of a wolf. For a week, both hunters tracked their prospective quarry through the woods. When the contest was presented, the hunter felt the most game. True to his word, Galawain presented her with a wolf heart, which gave her a crafty and evasive nature its namesake. So we'll give that to her, since it seems to match what she's supposed to be doing. And this is quite literally just an upgrade. It's basically the same thing, only better. And let's take a look at this. Copper wires are shiny. Something churns and bubbles in the tank. And we're going to talk to this guy and say, hello, you aren't authorized to be doing experiments. A round-faced balding man turns to face you. His upper lip is pulled upward slightly by his pointed nose, exposing his upper teeth.
What is the meaning of this?
Let's see. I'm gonna go with number 1. Yes, well, Ethelmore hasn't done much good for anybody since his soul moved to an inanimate object, so I fail to see why I should let that sway me. If Animancers all followed the commands of their leaders, where would we be? We'd all be as backward and willfully ignorant as the Raid Saris. We would know nothing about life or death, or even ourselves. We would be lost in the dark with no clue as to why. Gonna go with number 2.
Is that a reason to stop trying? Shall we remain in the dark until the end of time and have the last breath of the last person alive be breathed in ignorance? The gods want us to know. The clues are all around us. In understanding these truths, we honor their creation. Who will solve Widewen's legacy? Some church? Some warrior? It will be an Animancer, or it will be no one at all.
Or a Watcher. Go to number 3. That's none of your business. Did one of the others put you up to this? Oddmer? That smug weasel. Things went wrong. Everything. I don't know. I'll never know. Go number 2. You're going to get a lot of looks asking questions like that in the sanitarium for the imbalanced. In truth, I've spent a lot of time treating them since I've been reduced in my capacities. You might have luck with some of the more functional patients. They tend to congregate in the main area just past the entrance of those patient wards. Okay, go number 1. I have, yes, no point in lying about it now that Ethelmore is involved. I asked for volunteers from our patients and a few brave souls came forward. I was very close at one time to a breakthrough. They understood that. They understood their sacrifices would mean something. I'll go with number 4. Out of the question, those patients are in isolation for a reason. I'm gonna go with number 1.
Those are private. You have no right.
He balls up his fist and digs his teeth into his index finger, a growl simmering beneath his breath and his deep scowl compressing his
Fine.
face.
Speak to them for all the good it'll do you. I'm sure the discussions will be fascinating.
Interesting.
Eh?
I'm gonna talk to this frail person. I'm gonna try not to upset her. Curved spine twists this woman's posture forward, her greasy hair draped over her large eyes like that. She smiles. You must be visiting someone. Then noting your appearance, she says, a friendly visit, I hope. I'm gonna go with number 1. Oh, I like him very much. Many animists would care less about their patients, look at us like vermin for their experiments. But Master Azo treats us like humans, even the very sick. You can tell he does this to help people. He's helped me understand a great deal about myself, and I know he's done the same for others. It's too bad what they did to him. He hides it well, but I know he's still affected by it. What happened to him? They don't like to talk about it, but there was an accident. He was said to be one of the brightest in Deerwood. That was his reputation here, and that was what brought me to seek treatment. People say it was ego that drove him to try and solve the legacy, but that's hogwash. Even if he was a bit of a showman, he loves his homeland. He thought he could help. He wasn't one to speak of his work. I suspected his colleagues might have tried to steal it, but he told me once that he had figured out a way to create a soul. Not a soul exactly, mind you. How did he put it? A proxy, I think he called it. It had some machine that drew energy out of the very ether. Can you imagine? The point is, it was going to help with the legacy. It was going to make Hollowborn into something easier to love and care for. Gods know that's something we need. Do you know what they call those little empty babies in Andra's Gift? They call them buoys because so many of them are found floating. Oh my god. Anyway, Master Azo has scheduled a public demonstration of his work in Copper Lane. He was so excited. And then the next day he was locked in his office, turning away visitors, I heard, and he stopped seeing patients. I don't know exactly what happened, and I don't have the heart to ask him, but I'm glad they're letting him treat people again. But 3. Well, there's Batixa, who relives a murder she committed more than 5 lifetimes ago. Idoman, who they say only has half a soul, and who was found collecting the faces of others because he believed his own to be a false one. Graham, he speaks in a language no one understands and wails at night sometimes. From their normal behavior, I mean. Well, yes, I suppose, but nothing they didn't volunteer for. Master Azo let us know that a number of patients in the North Ward had volunteered for a new therapy and would be escorted to his laboratory to receive treatment. The North Ward has our most troubled cases. I'm glad some of them have chosen to get help. Seems to me it's gotten quieter over there since it started. It's Graham I see them taking in the most. He struggles, but he's always a bit of a wild one. Go number 5. Behind her hair, her cheeks flushed. I don't want to say. You'll think less of me. I'm gonna go with I'm listening. These last few years haven't been kind to me. They haven't been kind to anyone, really. I try not to take it personal. I lost my husband and both boys in the Saints. My daughter, the legacy took her before she was ever mine. I made do. What else could you do? Moved into a tiny place in Andra's Gift. Got by mending clothes and on the kindness of strangers when I had to, but I was surviving and the gods were watching over me. I could live with that. Then, one day, this noble woman comes in, wants this fancy gown fixed. Gorgeous thing, this shade of blue I'd never seen before. Only I had. I looked at it and it reminded me of something. I had what they call an awakening. I remembered being a noble woman myself in another life, people doting over me, men doting over me. Me, the best food, the most beautiful home, all the things you'd never dare to dream of. They were mine. It was poison knowing that. All those things I had that I'll never have in this life, it did something to me. My food started to taste rotten. The walls in my little room seemed to close in around me. I stopped being able to sleep in my own bed. So I came here. It was at her break into an estate and started ordering servants around. Seems like such a silly thing to worry about. You don't have to tell me. But I can't get past it, and I start to wonder, did the gods choose this life for me? And if so, what terrible thing must I have done to deserve it? I'm gonna go with number 5, actually. Like, you know, you've got your life, and you live it, and you do the best that you can. That's what kept me going, but it hasn't gotten easier, and it's just too bad. Number 5. So, let's see, I'm gonna check something. Let's open this door. I'm gonna save the game, and hopefully we won't end up having to fight all these flesh constructs. That's my face. Is this my face? Tell me. Who are you? Thundering sky, rain of blood, innocence must drown. sounds unpleasant. This man has the look in his eyes of a hunted animal, and at your approach he staggers backward at the far corner of his cell, halfway appearing as though he would climb the walls if it would get him further away from you. He cries out a bizarre primal utterance like nothing you've ever heard. Interesting. Go to number 1. Graham looks at you blankly. It's unclear whether he understands you or not, but his panic is momentarily subsided. He opens his mouth to speak, but the words that come out are half-formed as though his tongue were cut out. They are impossible for you to discern if indeed they are words at all. I'm gonna go with number 1. He looks at you with uncertainty. Slowly, tentatively, he steps forward to the front of his cell, and as he does so, the first time you can perceive his soul with your ken. It is misshapen as though made by some jagged instrument, and large expanses of it have been gouged out entirely. You feel no barriers of resistance. If you wanted to, you could look further into Graham's soul. You project out toward the maimed soul in front of you, merging with it, its confusion and fear becoming yours as it whisks you into its depths. You're in your cell. A key turns. The door creaks open on neglected hinges. Thoughts come to you in waves, incomplete, broken, fearful. Standing at the door is a rotund, balding man. His upper teeth and pointy nose remind you of a rat. He beckons, apologetic. You don't want to go. Anything else in your mind is a single word, and the word is no, but it dissolves before it reaches your lips. You press against the back wall corner. You cry out. In darkness, you fight against unseen restraints. You can't move your arms or legs. The man walks into the room carrying a lit candle, its meager flame casting long shadows across books and machinery. Straps bind your arms and legs. Cold metal, it circumscribes the crown of your head and the breadth of your chest. The man is sorry. He's in need of raw materials. They dismantled his work and he needs another source. He needs to show them that he was right. He thanks you. Then he turns a knob and you feel yourself begin to crack from within, and you can feel pieces of you torn away, like having your insides chewed by a horde of rats, and you are screaming a scream you can barely hear. Another night. Heavy footsteps outside your door, coming for you. They look through the slit in your door. The flesh giant, the artificial being just outside, but facing left, facing the end of the hallway. The boy is there. The boy looks with interest at the giant, then collapses to the floor like a shed snakeskin. The giant convulses for a moment, then rights itself, turns away, and leaves. Graham looks at you, still wild-eyed, but somehow more present. He nods at you, then walks back to the end of his cell. Interesting. So I have
These poor people. This isn't the treatment that they were promised upstairs by the cushioned seats and lush carpets. Is that the cure for soul sickness? To be thrown into a cell and subjected to the whims of your captor?
I'm gonna go with number 2. But if all were treated like this, the sanitarium would never survive. What did these patients do to warrant such conditions? I'm gonna go with number 1, because that's the key, is that you do horrible things to one subset of people, but then you do good things for some other people, and then people only, but you do one in hiding and you do the other in public, and then everyone looks at your public face and that's all they see. I hope so. You're probably right, it's just hard to see. Let's be on our way. This place gnaws at my soul. Indeed. A willowy adolescent boy stands in the center of the cell, gawkish and stoop-shouldered. He stares straight ahead with occasional blink of his only movement, and it is unclear whether he registers your presence at all behind his glassy, doll-like eyes. In this state, the barriers between your soul and his are thin and porous, easily bypassed if you wish it. The Close your eyes and edge forward and toward the boy's soul, and as you near, a sudden malaise comes over you. You are cold and warm all at once, sweating and shivering and straining for breath as you did on the caravan journey. The soul you approached is the wrong one, a parasitic plant that strangles its host. Interesting. It's predatory and pitiless, and you have crossed paths with it before. Too late does it occur to you to retract, and already you feel yourself plunging into the interminable abyss of thought and memory. You are standing in a cell now, the same cell in the sanitarium. The halls are moonlit and empty, and you are waiting. At the far end of the ward, the door opens, revealing a flesh golem in silhouette beneath the stone archway. It makes its usual rounds, the same stops every time, the misbegotten child of despondent creators. When the construct is close, you coil yourself up and spring forward, passing out from the boy's body as though it were a membrane. You can sense his body behind you collapsing to the floor, a puppet whose strings are cut. You are rushing toward the golem now, bodiless as a gust of wind. Quickly you think to yourself, quickly, and you feel the strength hemorrhaging from your soul as you dart toward the makeshift abomination. You pass into the golem shell and overtake the soul implanted within, encircling it, suppressing it, and contained in this new vessel you are strong again. You step heavy-footed down the corridors, unheeded by the other constructs and scrutinized only by the wary, untrusting eyes of the mad. Coming at last to an office piled with books and scribbled papers and the perverse implements of animancy, you set your oversized hands on the large machine, a nest of globes and tubes and coils in the center of the room, and go to work bending wires and unsettling alignments. Your surroundings are pulled past you, or perhaps you are pulled past them. They dissolve into a blur. When they settle into place again, you are outside on a clear day, standing in front of a crowd stacked high above you with tiered seats of an amphitheater. You are acting for the crowd, standing deliberately still, but this is no play. A balding man with rodent-like features is strapping you to a machine, the one you had tampered with. You see your arms for the first time, short and fleshy, unmistakably those of a little girl, but this body is not truly yours. Your mind still holds the same determination, the same hard-heartedness as before. The body itself is cold and vacuous, unlike the others, but this one has no soul of its own. The man speaks, and the crowd applauds with an enthusiasm worthy of the hero's entrance. Bear witness, he says, and pulls the lever. The machine shivers and sparks, and a bead of sweat rolls down the side of the man's brow, but the crowd's apprehension quickly gives way to awe as the crystal globe fills with a radiant mist that casts the entire theater aglow. He opens a valve, and the glow crawls through the tube along the length of copper wiring that runs to a set of electrodes beneath your armpits. You feel nothing when it reaches you, as it should be, for you have been leading his work astray periodically for some time, altering notes and settings and playing puppeteer for Hollowborn. But you make it look how people would expect it to look when a body is infused with a soul. In a moment, the machine goes dark and the man unstraps you, eyeing you with a scientist's concern. He looks back up to the crowd. "Behold," he says, but there's an obvious hesitation in his voice. Slowly you take a plodding step forward, then another and another. You look up at the man, giving him eye contact of which no Hollowborn is capable, and the crowd gasps. The man looks revealed. "How do you feel?" he asks, the volume meant for the crowd, and this is the moment. At the top of your lungs, you let out a piercing shriek. The man comes toward you, his hands outstretched, but you run the other way, back to the machine. With all your strength, you drive your head into the crystal globe, and it shatters, streaking your head with warm blood. You drive your head down onto the surface of the machine again and again, drawing panicked screams from the crowd, and by the time the man reaches you, your body has already ceased proper functioning, and merely twitches on the cold ground. Satisfied, you depart the corpse in search of another unsuspecting host. Who could put their faith in animancy now? You are pulled again from your surroundings, transcending the boundaries of memories and lifetimes, deeper and deeper past betrayals and murders and lies upon lies that form the thick webbing of plots beyond mortal comprehension. You settle at last upon a room you have seen before, expansive with a tall device encasing it under a monolith at its center. The room is filled with people, and the people all look at the device. You are yanked suddenly back to reality, and the once catatonic boy in the cell is looking directly at you, appraising, calculating. There's no mistaking now that it is the soul of the man who caused your awakening that gazes out from this borrowed husk. A watcher. Gonna go with number 2. Is that so? He makes no effort to hide his disinterest, but he continues to search your eyes. He makes slight grunting noises, and his eyes soften for an instant. It seems for a moment that he recognizes you. He opens his mouth to speak, and seems to think better of what he was about to say. His jaw tightens. "I know your look. You hunger for answers that elude you. It gnaws at your soul. It usurps your reason for being. You are like everyone." I will help you let go. He dodges backward with a startling grace, putting himself out of reach. On his face there is no malice, only dispassion of a farmer putting down a sick animal. Then suddenly he slumps forward. Interesting. So we're gonna pop this.
Hey.
I'm gonna try to get him close enough.
Following your lead.
And should I actually?
Ready, Watcher.
Okay, so we just knocked this guy down.
Hmm?
I'm gonna
Yeah. Got it.
pull him forward. We've actually got this
I'm here.
open now. We're pulling
Sure.
in.
Hmm?
Whoa, what the hell? Flesh Construct is doing something weird.
Hey.
Okay, so we're gonna pop this. We have 3 crazed patients here. And it's very clear at this point that we've got
Hmm?
Yeah.
some very interesting stuff going on. Okay, so now
Point the way.
On your word.
holy crap, we need to heal him. Okay, so he's phased out.
Eh?
I'm gonna pop her over here.
What?
Oh crap, I don't have access to my person anymore. That's interesting. Okay, so let's get over here. Oh shit, she's really ripped up. Holy shit. Okay, so okay, we're gonna pop this, and then we're going to pop a blessing, and then we are going to pop. I think that's all we're gonna do for now. Actually, oops. Okay, so what are we doing? Let's go ahead and attack here.
Yeah.
What? Following your lead.
Gonna have him pull back. Shit. That's bad. Okay, so
Yes.
I wonder if I can summon both worms and
I'm
the
here.
other thing as well, like at the same time. So this crazed patient is attacking Durance. I think that it's in my best interests to go after it. Wow. That's pretty crazy. Okay, so let's see.
Yeah. Ready, Watcher.
Okay, so we have these 3 here. Okay, so he has finished with his business. Ah, maybe I should actually equip the proper weapon set. Go ahead and Andrea here. Whoa, that is a lot of damage actually. These worms are great. So you just crit that thing for 22 points of damage. Okay, so I'm gonna have Eldrea chill. And I'm gonna send her out, I guess. These things are prone for quite a while.
My bow's ready.
You don't have a bow anymore. Okay, I'm actually gonna pull her out. Oh. There we go.
My
So
bow's
let's
ready.
go after this thing. It's flanked. These worms are so good. Oh my goodness. Just so much damage output from these 3 things. So... chains grown with added weight, crescent bite marks hit the edges of the cot. Bucket reeks Lowfall. Okay, so now we understand what happened there. So it looks like this person is directly responsible for the Weidman's legacy stuff. Okay, so let's charge. So that was a normal hit. It's a minus 40 to hit at this point. So it's minus 60 right now, actually. Now that I think about it. So Eldrea crits for 39! Nice! That is a lot of damage. I love it. Yeah, Eldrea's getting pretty crazy right now. I'm gonna actually check this thing. Eldrea got a crit. Yeah, it's a plus 28, so she has something like a 28% chance to crit. So this is a spellcaster of some sort. That was a normal hit. Wow. Goodbye.
Yeah.
that thing is attacking the puppy. Okay. We're gonna just have everyone attack, I guess. Ouch. That's not good. So, we are almost done with flesh constructs.
Yeah.
So that's good. I'm gonna go
See what lies this way.
check on this guy because it looks like he actually kind of just went a bit nuts because his thing didn't work out properly. But let's see if... talk to him. Let's see if he can help out here. Okay, I'm gonna go with number 1. How could you possibly? Look, it had to be done. Ethelmore and the others, they took everything from me. Everything. When I was this close, I had to know. I had to know why, where I failed and why. Imagine the value if I succeeded. I had something that could make all those hollow infants into something like a real person with a few more patrons and a few years research. Who knows? No one has come that close with the legacy. It's why I have to continue. Why I have to risk everything here working in secret. It's why you have to lie to Ethelmore for me. Tell him you cleared me of all suspicion. I'm gonna go with number 1.
I trust that you'll do what's right for Deerwood. Don't hold everyone accountable for my mistakes.
Well, the problem is that he doesn't realize
Light,
what
flame,
caused.
and sound.
He was actually sabotaged, and there's no way to talk to him about the fact that he was sabotaged. And without being a watcher, there's really whoa, really? The flesh construct is attacking. Oh, Wicked? So something we're. Kind of interesting.
Quickly and quiet.
Okay, that was weird. No, we shouldn't charge yet. She has a tendency to spend a lot of her time in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the problem with these kinds of sort of scientists, is that they don't actually have any capability because they're not supernatural themselves in the manner that they need to be in order to deal with things like someone just trying to sabotage their work. The person who actually generated the legacy is sufficiently magical, right, that they can just interfere with any attempts to fix things. So as a result, the so it looks like the key is that these guys regenerate really super fast. So the golems basically have to get a critical hit to instigate them, and that will
I'm here.
end the fight.
Eh?
Hmm?
I think this is bad. Got another one coming in.
Got it.
Hey.
Yes?
Okay. Let's look for the heavy hitters.
Point the way.
Not entirely sure how I got off the first one here, but okay. There we go. There we go. Base area progress is sitting at 100%.
Sure.
Good job, team. So, I'm pretty sure that we finished wits already, so there's not really any reason to want to get the kill on those. Shh. I don't see the other patients.
Quickly and quietly.
Okay, I'm not going to steal this money. If it was some sort of note or something like that, then I would, but not. What's up, Bella? Have you not noticed the...
Good day to you.
That is hilarious. Getting out of here, it's not safe. Good call. Good call, dude. I'm glad that you said that. Because that is absolutely the case. You'd expect that poisons would deal corrode damage or something. It's weird the idea that someone could be... that you can't possibly have any resistance to poison. I'm gonna open this. Heavy lock holds the trunk shut. It's too sturdy to break and the mechanism looks too complicated to pick. You'll need to find the key. Alright.
Hail and well met.
Is this where the key is? Nope.
Eh?
Okay, interesting. So... this Modred guy has a trunk that we can't get into yet. What the blazes happened down there? You were given permission to ask questions. I'm gonna go with number 3. You finish your explanation and Ethelmore breaks the silence. I have read accounts of people in history who could do what you described. The accounts are few and brief and never reliable. Some go as far as to suggest they're all the same person. If truly such a person was here amongst us, plotting our ruin, would that I had a body again and I could be some real use in our time of need. I just realized that I didn't set an alarm. I fear what the future may hold in this place. I'm grateful you were able to dispatch the threat before there was loss of an innocent life, well, except all those patients. We very nearly had another scandal on our hands. What of Ozzo? What part did his experiments play? I'm gonna go with number 2 because your half answer suggests a bias, but also suggests as close to the truth as I'll get from you. Cademan will remain here, but he will be monitored. Under no circumstances will he have access to any equipment.
Hail, traveler!
Your half truth. Well, the thing is that I just saw what it was that happened during the first scandal. During the first scandal, it was very clear that what happened is that his research was being interfered with. And if his research was being interfered with, it's very probable, in fact, that he actually was on the right track. That he was, in fact, going to be able to do something that would be bad for the legacy, which is what this other guy caused. So the idea that I'm not able to tell anybody, oh, by the way, this guy actually might have been onto something, and his research should be continued, but it should be done in a moral, manner. You know what I mean? I don't know why I'm asking you guys. Okay, I'm going to check something quick. I need to see how long we've been recording. We've been recording for 1 hour and 17 minutes because I didn't actually have a timer. And this is the perfect place to end. So thank you everyone for watching. It has been a pleasure to stream for you guys again. And hopefully I'll see you guys again next time.